Oh, hi, and welcome to Friday How to Play with Salomé. I'm Salomé Martinez. Have you ever wanted to build the kind of garden that butterflies whisper about and frogs line up to live in? Well, now you can. In Pergola, a game all about growing flowers, inviting insects, and creating a peaceful paradise with a whole lot of pollen. Designed by Michał Gojowski and Przemek Bakowiak, and published by Rebel Studio, Pergola plays 1 to 4 players and takes about 45 minutes. It's clever, it's relaxing, and it'll have you making the most satisfying little combos. Think you've got what it takes to craft the perfect garden retreat? Well, there's only one way to find out. Come have a seat with me at the table and I'll teach you how to play Pergola. To play this delightfully serene garden building game, we must first start with the setup. Start by laying out your garden board in front of you. Place the pergola board to the left side and the cascade board on the other side of the garden board. Then place your scoring board under your garden. This will help remind you of all the different ways to place your components and how to score. Then grab one of those starter pots. Inside, you'll find your little garden toolkit. 1 frog, 2 water drops, 4 honey pots, and 1 birdhouse. Go ahead and place your frog and birdhouse on the garden board. Put your water drops at the top of your cascade and line the honey pots up on the bench of your pergola with the empty side facing up. Once you've placed all your starting goodies, set your now empty pot off to the side next to your garden. You'll be dropping tools into it throughout the game to keep track of your turns. Now, you're going to take the large token holder and the pawn board and place them in the middle of the table. This holds all the lovely pieces you'll be collecting, so make sure it's in reach of everyone. Next, shuffle the leaf token and split them into 3 equal piles, and you'll place them on the leaf board. Place the board next to the token holder. Place the action board, making sure the side for 2 to 4 players is facing up, and set it in reach of everyone. Divide the tools by type: shovel, hoe, rake, trowel, and shuffle the tools needed for your player count separately and place them in the given order in the tool holder. For a 2-player game, you will use the shovel and hoe. For a 3-player game, you'll use shovel, rake, and hoe. And for a 4-player game, you will use shovel, rake, trowel, and hoe. Now, draw 4 shovels and place them above each action space of the action board. Finally, let's head over to the pond and group the medium and large dragonflies into their 4 types and stack them onto the 4 bright water lilies. In a 2-3 player game, stack 2 dragonflies with the large dragonfly on top of the medium one. If you're playing with 4 players, place 3 per stack with the large dragonfly on top of the 2 medium ones. And just like that, you're ready to dig in and garden. In Pergola, your goal is to create the most stunning insect-friendly garden around. You'll collect plants and helpful critters, perform whimsical actions like frog jumps and insect flutters, and build the kind of dreamy layout that earns you points in all sorts of clever ways. When the game ends, the player with the most victory points wins. Pergola is played in turns, starting with the first player and moving clockwise. Each turn has 4 steps. Pick a tool, enrich your garden, perform an action, and clean up. On your turn, you'll start by picking one of the 4 tools from above the action board. Once you've chosen, place it next to your garden board, and then grab the components shown on that tool from the token holder. This is where the magic happens. You'll then take those components you just gained and enrich your garden with them. You'll place them onto your board in ways that builds combos and helps you score. You're making strategic choices here. Do you stack hollyhocks to aim for variety? Do you complete a buttercup pair for a bonus? This is where you're trying to craft your perfect little garden, 1 token at a time. Before we move on, let's learn about all the components you might gain so you know exactly how they work and how they'll score you points. Let's start with hollyhocks. These flowers come in 3 colors: blue, yellow, and red. Each color hollyhock stacks vertically. You can place the first hollyhock anywhere in your garden, but the next hollyhock of the same color must be played on top of the previously played hollyhock. And these flowers score in sets. They reward you for color variety in a single row. If you got 3 different colored hollyhocks in a row, that's 6 points. 2 different colors in a row gets you 3 points, and 1 flower on its own is worth 1 point. Next, they're butterflies. These delicate little point flutters score separately and only score if they're sitting on hollyhocks. For each butterfly on the first level, you'll earn 1 point. If it's higher up, like the second or third level, it scores you 2 points each. And if you have them on the 4th level or higher, you'll get 3 points for each butterfly. There is no particular order to follow when placing butterflies. You can place them on any open space you find, but placing them up high is key. If you obtain a butterfly and have no place for it to land on, you can place it in your garden to fly about freely. Magnolias come in single branch or double branch pieces. When you place your first magnolia piece, you can place it anywhere in your garden. The next piece you play has to branch from a bud of a previously played magnolia piece. Magnolias score per piece, not per bud, depending on the level they're at. Pieces on levels 1 through 3 are worth 1 point. Magnolias on levels 4 give you 2 points per piece, and anything higher than that score you 3 points per piece. So build your magnolia tree tall. Ladybugs love to sit on magnolias. These cute little beetles score depending on how many are on the same level of a magnolia tree. 1 ladybug alone is worth 1 point. 2 on the same level score 2 points each. 3 or more? Boom! 3 points each. Seems like ladybugs love to party. Oh, and just like butterflies, there is no particular order when placing ladybugs, and only 1 ladybug per space. If there is no spot for the ladybug to land on, then they too can fly freely in the garden. Now let's take a look at the buttercups. What a cute word, buttercup. If you gain these, you'll place them under your pergola. They come in 2 sizes, small and large. If you got one of each to form a pair, you'll gain 3 points per pair. But that's not all. Add bees to those buttercups and they become even more valuable. A small buttercup with a bee is worth 2 points. A large buttercup with 2 bees on it is worth 4. So filling them with bees really makes your garden buzz. And similar to butterflies and ladybugs, if you have no place to place a bee, it can fly freely along with other bees, ladybugs, and butterflies. If you manage to fill your buttercups with a certain amount of bees in your pergola, they'll produce honey, which will fill your honey pots that are on your bench and give you extra endgame bonuses. You'll fill your first pot after placing 4 bees, your second pot after placing 7, and you'll fill your third and last honey pot after placing 9 bees on buttercups in your pergola. The bees are cumulative. You do not have to start back at 0 for each pot. Once you fill a honey pot, it stays filled even if you move a bee from a buttercup. However, you must still reach the next number of bees on buttercups to fill the next pot. If you fill this pot, you'll gain 1 point for each butterfly in your garden, both on flowers and flying about. By filling this pot, you'll earn 1 point for every 2 collected leaves, regardless of their color. I'll go over how you gain leaves in the perform and action phase of the turn. When you fill this pot, you'll gain 1 point for each ladybug in your garden, whether magnolias or flying about. And finally, if you fill this honey pot, you'll gain 1 point for each used and unused lantern in your garden. Bees are also attracted to lavender flowers. Each flower can hold 3 bees. That's worth a whopping 8 points if it's completely filled. But remember, no partial credit. You need all 3 bees on the flower to score the full amount. However, To place a lavender flower, you'll need to plant 2 lavender leaves in your garden first. Each leaf you place will be worth 2 points each. After creating a cluster of 2 lavender leaves, instead of placing a lavender flower, you can place a small dragonfly in between the leaves instead. Each small dragonfly will earn you 1 point each. There are also medium and large dragonflies. These are earned mainly through frog jumps, which I'll go over in the next step. Medium and large dragonflies do not land on any flower. Instead, they fly freely in your garden. Each medium dragonfly will score you 3 points, and each large one will earn you 5 points. These really add up if you focus on them, and they look gorgeous on your board. When you gain a lantern, place it into your garden face up. Each lantern gives you a one-time bonus you can only gain on your turn when it's applicable. This lantern, after performing a water drip, allows you to perform that action again with the same or different water drop. This one, after performing a frog jump, lets you perform another jump. If you get this lantern, when you gain a ladybug, a butterfly, or a bee, you can take another insect of the same type. And if you take this lantern, when you choose a tool, it'll let you perform a different action than the one associated with the tool you take during that turn. You can only use each lantern once, so timing is key. You may have more than one lantern of the same type, and you may also use more than one lantern on the same turn. You can even use the lantern on the same turn that you got it in. After you use a lantern, you're going to flip it over so you can't see the symbol and leave it in your garden. At the end of the game, any lanterns in your garden, used or unused, can score points, but only if you flip the honey pot that rewards you for the lanterns. Now that you've enriched your garden, it's time to perform the action tied to the tool you pick. Each tool sits above one of 4 possible actions: insect flutter, bird flight, water drip, or frog jump. Look at where the tool you chose was placed. That's your action for this turn. If it's the insect flutter action, you get to move 2 insects in your garden. Remember those butterfly, ladybugs, and bees you sent flying freely in your garden? Well, with this action, you can place them on any plants that have free spaces for the specific insect. You might also slide a ladybug on a magnolia or shift a bee from a buttercup to a lavender flower. The goal here is placement. Most of these insects only score if they're sitting in the right spot. This action helps you maximize their potential and prep for scoring later. If it's the bird flight action, you'll draw a leaf token from one of the 3 piles on the leaf board and place it in your birdhouse. Each leaf shows you a type of insect that you'll get to collect from the supply and place it into your garden, either directly on the flower or let it fly freely until you can place it later. Some leaves may also have an insect flutter action. Insect flutter actions on leaves only allows you to move just 1 insect. If there's ever a time when there are no more leaves to select during this action, you may choose to take either a butterfly, a ladybug, or a bee. At the end of the game, you'll score for each different colored leaf on your birdhouse. So if you end up with 6 leaves in 4 colors, you'll have a total of 4 points from those leaves. If your action is a water drip, choose one of your water drops and move it 1 step down your cascade board. If the space it lands on has an insect icon, grab that insect and add it to your garden. Water drops keep moving down 1 space at a time, and drops cannot share spaces with each other. Once a drop reaches the bottom, take either a butterfly, ladybug, or a bee, then choose one of the end game bonuses. You may gain at most 2 bonuses during the game. This bonus will reward you with 1 point for every set of butterfly, ladybug, and bee in your garden, regardless of their location. This bonus grants you 1 point for each dragonfly in your garden, regardless of its size. And finally, this bonus will give you 2 points for every honey pot you fill. The water drip action is a slow build, but it pays off beautifully if you drip with purpose. And finally, if you choose the frog jump, it's hopping time. On your first jump, you can place your frog on any water lily in the pond. If your frog is already in the pond, you can jump to an adjacent lily. Some lilies reward you with free insects. You'll take the insect and place it in your garden. Other lilies give you a chance to collect a dragonfly, but only if you meet the requirement can you jump on that lily. For this lily, you must have at least 4 magnolias of any size in your garden. This lily, you must have at least 4 hollyhocks of any color in your garden. And for this one, you must have at least 4 buttercups of any size in your garden. Finally, for this one, you must have at least 4 lavender leaves in your garden. If you meet the requirement and land on any of these lilies, you'll take the top dragonfly from that lily stack and add it to your garden. You can only gain 1 dragonfly per given requirements. To obtain other dragonflies, each one must have a different requirement. You may jump on a dragonfly lily for your first jump, but only if you fulfill its requirements. If there are no dragonflies on a water lily, the jump has no effect. It's a small leap for the frog, a giant leap for your score. Once you've finished your action, it's time to clean up. You'll reset the tool roll by sliding all the remaining tools to the right to close the gap where you pulled your tool from. Then draw the next tool from the holder and place it in the open space above the insect flutter action. If there are no tools of a type left in the holder, replace a missing tool with a different type of tool. The order placement depends on the player count. In a 2-player game, you'll go from shovel to hoe. In a 3-player game, you'll go from shovel, rake to hoe. And in a 4-player game, you'll go from shovel, rake, trowel to hoe. Finally, drop your used tool into your personal pot. And that's it. Your turn is over. And it's the next player's turn. You'll keep taking turns like this, picking a tool, enriching your garden, performing your action, cleaning up, until everyone's had 15 turns. Once everyone has placed 15 tools into their pot, the game ends. It's time to see whose garden is buzzing with beauty and points. Go down the score sheet step by step and tally up all the points that you've been working towards. And whoever has the most points wins and is the top seed in Pergola, the ultimate garden guru. If there's a tie, well, you share the victory. This garden's big enough for 2. And that's how you play Pergola. I'm Salomé Martinez, and I want to thank you for getting your hands dirty and planting with me at the table today. And I hope you get to build a magical garden of your own at your table. Until our next Friday How to Play, remember to learn, play games, and always have fun. Adios.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.